Right now at 6, new money to fight the homeless crisis with strings attached. San Francisco receives $40 million to get more people off the streets and into treatment.
I'm sober, and now I go out and I'm a productive citizen in the community.
We'll meet a shelter manager who says it will go a long way toward helping people just like him. Plus, Oakland police trying to dig out of a severe staffing shortage. We're going to introduce you to the valedictorian of the first academy class in more than a year who can't wait to serve alongside his mom.
This is where I grew up. This is where my family lives, where we have businesses. Any chance I have to give back, I want to take that opportunity.
From Levi's Stadium to the streets of Seattle, we're going to hear from the 49er faithful as the red and gold get ready for their showdown against the Seahawks.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. 3 of California's largest cities, including San Francisco, are getting a big funding boost from the state to fight homelessness. Governor Newsom joined San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie today to announce $419 million in grant money as part of the state's homeless housing assistance and prevention program. LA County is getting the bulk of the funding, with the rest coming to San Diego and San Francisco. Our Brad Hamilton spoke with a man who escaped homelessness and is helping others do the same about how this new funding could have a direct impact on the city.
Known as the Northern Agency of the Navajo Nation.
Emery Tahe came to San Francisco's The Friendship House 5 years ago after years of struggling with alcoholism and living on the street. Today, he is a house manager, helping others find the same stability he did.
The best part of that is I get to give back. I get to be of service here at Friendship House and to help other individuals who are struggling just like I was.
His story and others like it is why Governor Gavin Newsom chose the Friendship House to announce more than $400 million of state funds that will go towards helping organizations like the Friendship House expand services, build new facilities, and keep shelter beds open.
We're seeing these investments paying off. It's been a flywheel. I get people's frustration. We all intimately understand that frustration, but we are seeing real progress.
San Francisco is set to receive just under $40 million. Mayor Daniel Lurie called the funding a validation of a more streamlined approach to getting people off the street. Specifically, his administration's focus on improving shelters and discouraging encampments as a way to meet the need with direct help.
We also understand that breaking the cycle of homelessness, addiction, and behavioral health isn't always just about funding. It's about transforming how we use that funding to deliver better outcomes for people in crisis and our broader community.
Lurie points to an increased shelter capacity and a 44% drop in encampments in December as evidence of progress. But not everyone is convinced that the approach is working. Assemblyman Josh Hoover backed a 2024 bipartisan state audit that found California officials failed to track billions in homeless spending. Hoover argues a lack of accountability will ultimately impact results.
He measures his accountability metrics by 2 things, number of people served and number of dollars spent. That is just simply not going to cut it. We are not measuring how many people actually exited the cycle of homelessness. We're not measuring how many people actually got permanent housing.
But the governor insists that this round of state funding comes with a demand for accountability and transparency, including a new requirement to address encampments.
There is no distribution of funds unless there's strategies and plans to address the issues of encampments on the streets and sidewalks of our cities all across this state.
For Emery and others at the Friendship House working on the ground, the impact of the money is already clear to see.
Definitely helps staff the facility. It definitely helps house the facility, the individuals that are coming in, and then it also provides effective treatment.
Now, Governor Newsom emphasized that people can track the progress counties are making on housing and homelessness on a website, accountability.ca.gov. One area, San Francisco, is making some progress: drug-related deaths. There are new numbers from the city's health department. It counted 621 people who died of accidental overdoses last year. That is slightly down from 2024, and it's nearly 200 fewer deaths than 2023, though the year seems like a post-pandemic. Now, a heads up for commuters right now. BART is reporting a major delay between the Daly City and Colma stations because of an equipment problem on the track. It happens to be affecting the red Richmond line and the yellow Antioch line in both directions. We did reach out to BART for more details on the cause, and we'll let you know just as soon as we find out more information. Right now, we're learning a father was killed and a mother seriously injured when they were hit by a car dropping off their child at school in Gilroy this morning. Police say a teenage driver hit them in the crosswalk at Charles Lux Drive and Lopez Way, not far from Los Animas Elementary School. And police say the driver is cooperating and they do not believe that speed, alcohol, or drugs were a factor. The Gilroy Unified Superintendent said the district is working to support the victim's two children. All right now we have new details on an arrest in the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl in San Jose. Police identified the suspect as 51-year-old Marlo Porter, who is a registered sex offender. Police say Porter approached the victim as she was walking to school by South 3rd and East San Fernando Street and offered her drugs. And then when she refused, police say Porter forced her into his car, drove to 17th and East Santa Clara Street, and sexually assaulted her. Police say Porter then dropped the victim off near her school, where she reported the incident. Police used license plate reader technology to find the suspect's car later that day. He has been booked on charges of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a minor, and police are asking if there are any other victims to come forward. San Jose police also announced they caught a man accused of breaking into more than 100 cars on the city's north side. It happened across several housing complexes in the city's River Oaks and Tasman and Zanker neighborhoods. The break-ins were reported in November, but the suspect had gotten away before police arrived after a months-long investigation. Police identified and arrested the suspect on Wednesday. All right, we are less than 24 hours away from the 49ers do-or-die matchup with the Seattle Seahawks. So our chopper flew over the San Jose Mineta Airport just this afternoon as the Niners boarded the team plane headed into enemy territory. On their way to the airport, the team passed by a swarm of red and gold as hundreds of faithful fans wished their team good luck before tomorrow's big matchup.
Bring it back to the game. Let's go!
And fans say although send-off was brief, it was well worth it. So the Niners landed in Seattle just this afternoon. They are ready for tomorrow's game with a trip to the NFC Championship on the line and payback on their minds. So our Ryan Yamamoto also made the trip up to Seattle. So Ryan, what are the vibes as you were heading to the game? What are the vibes in that territory now? Hey there, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're outside of Lumen Field. This is where the big game will be played tomorrow between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. As you can see, it's all lit up in green and blue. But I'll tell you, as you go around the town of Seattle, you see a lot of red and gold. It feels like maybe of a home game, just a little bit. We saw 49er fans at SFO. When we landed at SeaTac, we saw 49er fans there. We then saw more 49er fans at Pike Place Market. We saw them over at the Space Needle. They're all over Seattle because they're trying to do a faithful takeover. And I asked these fans why they love this team so much. You guys travel really well. Why is that?
Well, it's just diehard fans, love the team.
Why make that trip?
Because we're the best team in the world, and there's nothing better to watch us win on the road.
So there's a big bonding experience with the faithful as they come here to Seattle. In fact, the Niners are known as some of the best traveling fans in all the NFL. So expect a lot of red and gold at this stadium tomorrow. Should be a fun one, a tough game for the 49ers, but a possible win for them and maybe a trip to the NFC Championship game. And then, if that happens, a Super Bowl title game at their home stadium at Levi's Stadium. Liz,
it's so sweet.
Jules, back to you.
Ryan, save your voice. I know you've been out there shouting with all those Niners fans because we're going to see you again at 7 o'clock, okay?
All right. Thanks, Jules.
See you in a bit. All right. For an inside look at how the team is preparing for tomorrow night's showdown, don't miss the Red and Gold Report. And that is tonight at 7:30 right here on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. All right, still ahead right here at 6. We're going to meet some of the newly graduated officers cutting into Oakland's police shortage, including a Marine veteran following his mother onto the force.
For her to pin me, it's a great honor.
He's earned every bit of it, but I couldn't be more proud.
Plus, how a Monterey County community is still dealing with the aftermath of a massive battery plant fire that broke out 1 year ago today.
Another unseasonably warm day for most of the Bay Area, with temperatures around 70 degrees this afternoon, even got up to 71 in the city. Only 61 in Concord because of that fog, but that's 4 degrees above normal. We'll take a look at how long this warm, stagnant pattern is going to stick around in the First Alert forecast.
The Oakland Police Department has just made a dent in what police officials call a staffing crisis. After today's academy graduation, the department now has 618 sworn officers, and that is well below Mayor Barbara Lee's stated goal of 850 officers, though she says the immediate target right now is 700. Today's graduation class was OPD's first in a full year. Our Dahl Lynn spoke with the mayor about how the city plans to boost the force and the story behind one new officer who will be serving alongside his mom.
Officer Beltran.
Newly graduated Officer Lyle Beltran won all of the major awards in the 195th Police Academy, including being the class valedictorian. The Oakland native says serving his community as a police officer is a dream come true.
I grew up in East Oakland. I went to school right here on 12th and Webster. I graduated right here 10 years ago from high school. This is where I grew up. This is where my family lives, where we have businesses. I owe a lot to the city. Any chance I have to give back, I want to take that opportunity.
Officer Beltran served 4 years in the Marine Corps before returning home to pursue his dream job. His mother, Lieutenant Gloria Beltran, is a 15-year police veteran and currently the acting captain for the Criminal Investigations Division.
I grew up watching her work, and I grew up around the department. I saw her hard work throughout the years, and for her to pin me, it's a great honor. I'm really humbled and happy to be here.
Couldn't be any more proud. But I will say he's worked really hard. I, have watched him really just dedicate the last 6 months to the academy. Weekends, late nights, early mornings, extra trainings. So he's earned every bit of it, but I couldn't be more proud.
Proud families cheered on the new graduates, including the only female officer in this class, Officer Adriana Talavera.
It was definitely hard being the only female in the academy because, there was instances where I needed a sister with me, but, thankfully pushed through.
City leaders say they're encouraged by the 14 new graduates, but admit the department is still facing a serious shortage. This is the first graduating class in about 13 months. During that time, the department lost about 75 officers to attrition.
Losing 75 and gaining 14, we just got to do a little bit better.
Even though the city reports overall violent crime is down 25% comparing 2025 to 2024, Oakland still has some of the highest crime rates for a city of its size.
We funded 5 academies, and we are going to move forward with our cadet program, with our academies, and continue to recruit.
As for new Officer Beltran, he says he's ready to make an impact in the city he loves and grateful for the guidance from his mom and role model.
Boss at home, boss at work. Yes, sir.
The 196th Police Academy is already underway. That class is expected to graduate in May, adding about 15 to 20 more officers to the Oakland police force.
1 year ago today, that massive fire broke out at the Moss Landing battery plant in Monterey County. More than 1,000 people were forced to evacuate while the flames burned on for days. Thick, toxic smoke spread across the sky, creating concerns in surrounding communities. Fast forward to today, and neighbors are still concerned after a recent study from San Jose State. It found that at least 55,000 tons of toxic metals wound up in nearby wetlands. The long-term effects of those chemicals are still unclear. We spoke to a man who runs tours out on the water.
If you hadn't been here to see it when it happened or be affected by it, you might not even have known that it happened. I think a lot was learned by that, and I think they are designed differently today.
Vistra Energy says it is still working to determine a cause of the fire and that it's committed to the cleanup process. More than 15,000 battery modules have been de-energized. Special election will be held on August 4th to fill Representative Doug LaMalfa's seat. He died after a medical emergency last week. LaMalfa represented the 1st Congressional District, which currently encompasses the northern Sacramento Valley. The special election will use the current congressional maps, not the new lines approved by voters under the Prop 50. Multiple candidates have declared they're running to fill the rest of LaMalfa's term. And we'll be right back, but here is tonight's Tahoe Report.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mosley, and the mountains are calling. The Toyota, it's packed up and ready to go. But before we get out there, let's check out what the conditions are like. The Toyota Tahoe Report is ready. Let's head over to the map.
We've got a great base of snow across the entire Sierra, and that means all the resorts that we've got here locally throughout the entire Tahoe Basin, whether from Kirkwood or all the way up to Boreal. About a 3-foot base here. We haven't put down new snow. That probably comes as no surprise. We haven't had any significant storms come through, but the base is enough that you're going to find all of the runs, if not most of the runs at these resorts, are up and going just fine. Maybe even some man-made snow in the overnight hours at the higher elevations, because it has been cold enough for that in places, and some of the resorts will certainly take advantage of that as well. That is your Toyota Tahoe Report.
All right, I'm going to take a guess that Paul's going to be somewhere at 5 tomorrow, just indoors, watching something on TV, maybe with a little drinky drink in hand.
Well, no, because we got to pick up a friend at the airport around halftime.
Okay.
So it may work out okay.
Insinuating, but you know.
Fire up the YouTube TV on the phone while I'm waiting in the cell phone lot.
Right, but until then, things are looking good.
Yeah, and the weather looks fine up there. The same weather pattern that's keeping us dry is keeping them dry. So no worries about rain in Seattle in January, which is kind of a bonus. Let's take a look at the big picture pattern. And the reason for the dry weather is a very stagnant column air mass that is just parked over the west coast. It's directing the storm track way up into western Canada. You can see that outlined in the purple and blue here, diving back down through the Rockies and into the plains. But that's where the storm track has been for about the last 9 days or so. That's where it's going to stay for about the next 12 days. So we're right in the middle of what's going to be likely a 3-week stretch of dry weather across the Bay Area. Let's take a look at the rain chances for next week. We'll start at Monday and take you through the next weekend, the last full weekend of January, believe it or not. And the rain chances, while they're not technically zero the latter half of next week, very low confidence that anything more than some passing clouds are going to be moving through the Bay Area for the foreseeable future. I think maybe that last week of January, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the last week might represent the next good chance of rain headed in our direction, and likely the next chance to dramatically improve our air quality, which today wasn't as bad as yesterday, but it still wasn't great, especially interior portions of the East Bay. You see some of those orange dots mixed in, indicating the unhealthy for sensitive groups category. Tomorrow, we're likely to see more of those, especially in the inland valleys. So tomorrow is another spare the air alert. So that means wood burning stoves and fireplaces are a no-no, even with chilly temperatures in the forecast for tonight. Nice view of City Hall. Let's check our temperatures, which are in the 50s for most of the Bay Area, but still holding on to 62 in San Francisco and 63 in San Jose. After both those cities got up to 71 degrees this afternoon, way out of the ordinary for the middle of January. Not quite record-setting, but well above average for this time of year. Dog walking forecast for tomorrow is brought to you by an adoptable pup. This is Rocco, who looks like he is comfortable for the moment, lounging, but I'm sure as soon as the sun breaks through some early morning fog in Petaluma, he's going to be ready to race around a little bit. Temperatures reaching up into the low to mid 60s during the afternoon. I'll put up a link to the information if you're interested in adopting Rocco right after this weathercast on social media, Blue Sky, Instagram primarily, but I think it posts over to Facebook as well. Let's take a look at the forecast pattern for tomorrow. Temperatures after a chilly start in the 30s and 40s are going to warm up. The coolest temperatures, well, you can see where the fog hangs on a little bit longer, just outlined in the temperature palette, the blue in the Central Valley and creeping up against the east side of the Diablo Range, keeping those temperatures a little bit on the cool side for places like Antioch and Brentwood. But even there, you're going to approach 60 degrees. Temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley, upper 60s to around 70. Mid to upper 60s around the Bay. Temperatures at the coast into the mid to upper 60s. And after a foggy start in the North Bay, you're going to warm up to at least the low to mid 60s. Once again, places like Santa Rosa and Healdsburg warming up to a greater extent, getting a little bit closer to 70 degrees. 7-day forecast, just 2 microclimates to worry about. Don't have any rain chances in the 7-day forecast, so we can just worry about temperatures. Those interior valleys of the East Bay going to be the cool spots across the entire region, but even there, temperatures are going to stay in the low 60s, which is about 3 to 5 degrees above normal. For everywhere else, the warm weather sticks around through the weekend, and then a gradual cool down does kick in as we head through next week. That just sends us back to around 60 degrees by Thursday and Friday, which is still ahead of the pace for mid to late January. Jules?
Paul, thank you. Okay, when we come back, San Francisco is bringing a boxing ring to Civic Center Plaza. How the city hopes to break a world record this summer. Also, here's a look at what's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
And tonight, Pittsburgh, which has traditionally been known as the Steel City, is quickly becoming a tech hub. Our visit to the Carnegie Mellon campus, which is at the center of it all. All that and more ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Now you can get your KPIX news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.
So over the past few years, you've seen San Francisco's Civic Center filled for festivals, concerts, protests, even a rave. But this summer, the city is hoping to set a new attendance record for boxing. Mayor Lurie says Civic Center will host a week-long slate of matches free to the public. It all culminates with a big bout on July 11th. The matches are being put on by the promotion group I Visit Boxing. The goal is to get 140,000 people on hand to watch, and that would be a new record, clearly. The only detail we're missing, and it's kind of a big deal, officials have not really said which fighters will headline the event. Okay. All right, well, a few days before the holiday, a group of volunteers in San Francisco gathered at Fort Mason to take part in volunteer work honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They were tending to the Black Point Historic Gardens. They were pulling plants from the site and replacing them with native species.
It's so beautiful that we got to contribute to this community here in America and SF with this beautiful story that we just heard about how this site was made and the people that contributed to it before us and the ones that are going to contribute to it after we leave here.
MLK is one of the biggest volunteer days across San Francisco's national parks. It's estimated more than 300 volunteers will put in nearly 1,000 hours of work. CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel is up next. We're back at 7 with more local news and live reports from Seattle. We'll see you then.